by Trustee Keys.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Cool. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the board meeting of January 14th, and a Happy New Year to everybody. Hope the holidays work well and enjoy. Just a reminder that the backlight should be on, Frank, so we know you're back there. Just a reminder, if there's an emergency, exit the nearest exit, which in this case is the back door, if not blocked, or the front door, or your vehicle. Please do not leave until so directed by emergency service personnel. Also, this is an unspoken building, so if you must, outside. Thank you very much. I'll go to clerk. For the board meeting.
Yes, and we have approval for the December 10th, 2012 board meeting.
A motion to accept this presented. Motion. Any changes, deletions, additions? All in favor? So carried. Village treasurer, Mr. Clerk.
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year to everybody. Okay, we'll start with the bills. Quite a lot of bills this period. For the period of December 12th through January 14th today, our bills total $1,351,332.42. The five largest of those bills: number one, Patchogue ambulance, one half of the village's portion of their budget, one half of the year, $296,100. Village's Skidmore, $60,507.92 quarterly insurance payments. Town of Brookhaven, November landfill dumping fees, $59,890.50, and we will be getting some of that money back from FEMA. Russell Reed, October, November sludge removal, $19,630.10. And I missed one, Eastern Resource for refuse disposal, $35,569.76. They total $471,698.28. I can have approval of those.
Motion to accept this presented. Motion. Any questions, additions, deletions? All in favor? So carried.
I do have a budget adjustment. I'd like approval to appropriate $26,305.20 from general fund surplus to cover the matching portion of the Patchogue River water study, USGS water study, also known as the non-point pollution grant. We received $24,512 on November 20th. If I could have approval.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried.
And one other small item, I'm looking for approval for the general fund to loan the housing code fund, a small amount, $256.94, and community development fund, $29,795.53. We will get reimbursed for those two items.
Motion. Motion. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried.
And you have in front of you for your information our cash balances as of November 30th and as of 12/31. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As people see around Patchogue lately, a lot of people have made improvements to their homes and to their businesses, and it's, on Main Street, it's very visible. We see a lot of good things going on in the building. And one of the buildings that I want to talk about is the corner of River Avenue and Main Street. I think people have been in Patchogue a while and no doubt recognize this building here. For many years it was a sheet metal business, correct?
Yes, that's what it was.
And
Benecase.
Mr. Benecase ran a sheet metal operation here, and other things went on over there. And over the years it had not been maintained as well, but we have people here tonight who now own the building, have done a tremendous amount of work to it, have really improved that end of town. And that end of town is, of course, part of the gateway into the village. And I'm happy to award the Patchogue Pride Award to Alfred and Awilda Delgado.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Nice job.
Thank you very much. Have a picture taken. You should take it. Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
You come and take a picture. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Congratulations. You should see him out there every day. Every day, up the ladder, down the ladder.
I still got a way to go. Thank you.
Yeah. You'd like to keep the picture? This is Doug. Here's the picture that goes along with it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, a resolution to approving the collective bargaining agreement between the CSEA Local 1000, AFC, ME, AFL, CIOs, and Public Safety in the village for a period of June 1st, 2012 to May 31st, 2015. This is for the public safety guys. Do you want to explain it?
Sure. It goes without saying, to you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Board of Trustees, it goes without saying that we appreciate the Public Safety Union and the public safety work that they do, especially with the increased people and capacity in the village. The union was very, kind of paralleled the original union contract that was approved with the blue collar and a white collar unions. It was approved in the last quarter of 2012. If you look on page 3, you'll see that the new public safety officer rates, again, consistent with our union contracts for the other unions in the village. There's 0 increase for this year, both for new hires. On the next page, the top of page 4, you'll see public safety officers, 0 increase, and senior public safety officers, 0 increase, all locked in until May 31st, 2013. So we certainly appreciate in this difficult economic time, public safety unions' consideration in those 0 increases. After that, it's 25 cents and 25 cents, and for senior officers, 40 cents and 50 cents. The only additional holiday is that we provided in paragraph 6, New Year's Eve. The only other change is on page 6 with regard to uniform allowances, which was increased by $20 for the 2012-2013 period, and then $10 and $10 after that.
Any questions by the board?
Does the having New Year's Eve be a holiday mean that they'll be, if they work New Year's Eve, they'll be making a holiday pay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a tough night now, too. So, you want to be able to reward them for time put in on a holiday like that.
Certainly.
It's $3 additional in their holiday pay.
Right. Motion to accept is presented.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Request approval for Debbie Newham and Nancy Howard to attend the annual New York State Accountability Conference for Court Clerks in New York City, February 18th to the 20th. The cost not to exceed $750 per person. Motion. Motion. Second. Second. All in favor? Aye. So carried. Dennis Smith, are you here?
Yeah.
Congratulations on the award.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. We're very proud of that and very happy with that, obviously. I think I'm gonna wait for my glasses to transition here with the new lighting. Mr. Mayor, trustees, I'm sorry.
This actually came, this is through a LIPA program. It's supposed to reduce it by half the cost.
It's kind of like you have to have everything pressed. Mr. Mayor, trustees, Attorney Egan, Madam Clerk, Trustee Treasurer Crosser. Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Smith with the Business Improvement District report. I haven't been here in probably since early November, so there's a lot to talk about. We have successfully completed the 2010 New York Main Street grant, which was the one we were doing on West Main Street. With that, we had made improvements to 19 commercial properties and 3 residential establishments, 3 apartments within that targeted area. We had expended $451,000 on bricks and mortar type improvements, and we have a return of $891,000, $891,107, which is 198% return on the initial investment that we made. So basically, we're getting $2 back for every $1 that we spent. With that grant, we had expended $492,790 total, which includes the admin expenses and the streetscape expenses, which means that we've expended 98.6% of that total grant, which is not a bad track record. Unfortunately, we left about $7,000 on the table, but it's really difficult to bring it back to basic zero. So we're happy with that progress, and as a result of that, we get to do it again. We have another New York Main Street grant for $250,000, which encompasses, we're going to revisit East Main Street, the south side of East Main Street, basically from the 4 corners down to 112, and then we're going to double back on the north side and go from 112 back to Maple Avenue. And we're also going to include 10 South Ocean Avenue in that, which is the one remaining property on the 4 corners that is yet to be developed or improved. So that's still in the mix. I've spoken with Joe Furman. I think he's got a tenant for that property now, so I'm kind of optimistic that in the next couple of months we can maybe get something done there and complete the 4 corner development that we have going on. I would also like to thank Linda Luzzi from the Long Island Advance and Dion Hampton from Newsday for their positive publication of our successes with this grant. So it was good to get it out there. And once you get it out there, you start hearing back from the constituents that, hey, I heard you have a grant, what can I do? And we need that because we want to have everybody involved and we want to get as much done with this grant as we possibly can. So all good things. We've had great successes in the last 4 years with the grant, and we're looking for the same thing to happen in the next 2 years. So that's all very positive. In other news, the VA board.
Brian, Dennis, how much have we gotten so far in these grants?
With this last grant, it brings us up to $950,000
So you got
in total grants from the state.
$700,000 that you've expended already.
We have, yes. And with that, we've gotten almost $2 million
That's my question.
in improvements.
So the 700 up, the 700,000, which you got, you were able to turn into almost $2 million worth of investment.
To date, with the culmination of the 2012 grant, which is basically done. We've gotten reimbursed for every project that we've done with the 2012 grant. The last project that we did do with that grant was 63 South Ocean Avenue, which I think is great with the lighting and so forth. We've been reimbursed for that. That's $700,000 that we've turned into just about $20,000 shy of $2 million in improvements with the 2 grants that we've gotten. And we're looking to take this $250,000 grant and double that again. So we're looking to have some $500,000 worth of improvements with that grant. Now, the good news is we have some people that are already interested. The old Napa building on Ryder and East Main Street, they have expressed interest in not only doing something for the facade and getting rid of the blue and the gray that exists there now, which we will do, maybe even bring the facade out a little bit more. More importantly, we're looking to maybe subdivide that building. Because if you look at that building on all the levels that it exists on, it's almost 20,000 square feet in space. And it's difficult when you're trying to attract business into the village. There are some entities, but very few entities want to come into 20,000 square feet. They'd much rather come into 2,500 to 3,000. So if we can get that building and divide it up a little bit and make maybe 4 smaller spaces out of it, I am sure that we'd have a much better shot at leasing that kind of space out than we would the spaces that exist there. In addition to that, as I said, Joel's building is in play. The Burlington Coat Factory has expressed some interest in maybe doing something to the front of their building. And we're going to approach the owner of the property where the old 7-Eleven / Carvel ice cream store is and see if we can't get something there as well. And if we can't do anything with that building front, we're definitely going to target a streetscape project to soften up the curb line and the look of that property from Main Street. So a lot of good things happening, a lot of things to come. The VAD board approved monies, and we've already made application and paid the fee to attend the 2013 Business to Business trade show, which we did last May, and it was very successful for us. It's held in Brentwood at the Suffolk Community College campus property. They attract some 4,000 patrons. There's almost 300 people, 320 people that attended, or I should say present at it. We went there and presented Patchogue Village last May. We had some really good response to that. We're looking to duplicate that and do it again. Of course, we're looking for whatever help we can get from the village as far as ideas and things that we can do there. And we're also trying to enlist the Chamber of Commerce to help us out and just get on board and let's promote the village, which I'm sure is not going to be a problem. The last thing I have to discuss is the wayfinding sign initiative that the VAD took about, I guess it was 6 or 8 months ago, the middle of last year. We are at a point where we have the signs just about ready to be approved. The big problem with that is we knew what we wanted, we developed the sign, we didn't have funding. It's going to cost about $23,000, $24,000, $25,000 to put this program in place. Now, in a conversation that I had with Marion Russo from CDA, they have monies that can help us. So a couple of weeks ago at the CDA meeting, I presented the plan to the board, the CDA board, and they approved monies to put that program forth. So they've approved up to $29,000 to make, install, and get the program started for the wayfinding sign initiative, which of course would identify parking lots, if you will, for people, patrons visiting the village. So it's exciting. The last part of the puzzle that we had was to get the funding. I think we've gotten that now. We will go forward with that. We'll finalize the project from our end. And I don't know if I should ask for this tonight, but probably in February, I'm thinking maybe the February 11th meeting, I will come here with Jerry Giosa. We will present this program to the public as well as the board. We can all take a look at it. We can all comment on it. And if that works out the way I'm sure it will, we can start shortly thereafter.
Just let Patty know so she gets on the agenda.
Okay,
Just let Patty know so she.
we'll do that. With that having been said, that's all I have. Unless there's questions for
I got a
me.
question for you. Comment. I know you're here in your Clark Kent role, your mild-mannered demeanor, but underneath your shirt, you're a super salesman. I just want to point out, I want you to point out, he got $750,000 worth of taxpayer money, grants from Suffolk County, the state of New York,
State of New York,
okay?
community of homes and,
All right. Then he went around to business owners in the community and extracted $1.2 million from those folks to improve the facades on their building. Okay, this guy's something else. I just don't like that. Get that flush.
that is, yeah. I don't think you ever get good at it, and, but thank you. Thank you for the kind words. That's the program. I mean, obviously, we had money, we had seed money But to make this program work and to make it successful, you need to have the initiative of the people who own the buildings, who own the businesses. And thankfully in Patchogue, you know, people are on the move. We have a lot of people who want to go forward, they want to take that next step. And maybe in 2008, it was a little more difficult than what it is now. People didn't understand it then, so you had to go out and knock on doors and try to convince people that, hey, I'm trying to give you some money to make your building better, it'll make the village better, it'll make commerce better. It's a lot easier now. People are calling me up, saying, hey, how can I get on board? And again, thank you to the Advance and News Ed, because that always helps. So we're in a good place now, and I'm looking for great things from this.
Dennis, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gil Holt, or the, Trustee Keys.
Mr. Mayor, fellow trustees, ladies and gentlemen, happy 2013, everybody. Hope this year is a bright one, promising one. I'm already further into the year than I was at this time last year. Looking a little better now than I did a year ago. So, I'm grateful for that. I'll start with the CDA report because Dennis Smith just kind of gave half of it away anyway. Just that I was going to report that we collaborated with BID for the direct sign, but there's no end to what he does. He even gives reports to people. CDA has adopted its 2013 calendar for this year's meetings. They're posted on the website. Anyone interested, would love to see people come out. Anyone suffering from damages from Superstorm Sandy can still reach out for assistance through our CDA office. We've established a community organization active in disaster program. So there's funding available. If you know anybody still looking to come up with need a few bucks, please give CDA office a call. And also a reminder, through our CDA office, we also have a caseworker who would help in any, especially the older people looking for any kind of assistance filling out forms, applying for Medicare, Medicaid, and that kind of thing. She's in on Tuesdays, but you can reach her through the CDA office. For DPW report, Mr. Mayor, our Public Stormwater Committee will be having its second public hearing, third public meeting, I'm sorry, on Thursday, January 24th. I see Linda here and Ryan, and a little plug in the advance, and Patrick would be helpful. Thursday, January 24th, 7:30 at Village Hall. We have a couple of videos we're going to show, and hopefully we get some public to come out and see those interesting things as well. We've improved our brine maker. We're hoping that it doesn't snow, but if it does snow, we have an improved brine maker up and running. Still optimistic about using that. DPW guys have been busy painting the interior doors of the theater. I guess Jackie was about that. And as far as the storm, FEMA meetings have been ongoing, but frankly, there's not too much to report just yet. We just had some preliminary meetings, and I don't want to make too many statements, because we learned last year how rapidly things change, and so I'd rather see things develop a little more before I report fully on that. Mr. Mayor, tonight I'm requesting approval for Larry Williams to take courses to obtain his grade 3A license at a cost not to exceed $600. I think you have the information in the packet.
Second. All in favor? Okay.
You're requesting approval for Residential Fences Corporation to install the double wing swing barrier gates at Shorefront Park Playground entrance and at DeWitt Street at a cost not to exceed $2,000 to prevent people from driving up on the park. The swing gates keeping them further away.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
You?
Guys, vote.
Is that, you also, oh, that's not the beach club one?
That's next.
Okay.
I'm also requesting approval for Residential Fences Corporation to install a double swing barrier gate at the Beach Club parking lot at a cost not to exceed $1,000. Do I have a second, Trustee?
Is there any chance of us looking into a roll gate in that
Sure.
location? Because swing gate, I think, will be in the way a lot, or something that's going to be in the way of it swinging. Sidewalk right there, public sidewalk.
If,
We're gonna move that number up then.
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Well,
Hold on.
We're going to do well, then I would just be happy with the chain.
No, this, we want to move the number to an amount not to exceed 2,500. If it's more than that, then you come back to us.
Okay, that's good.
And I think you're right with the roll gate.
And then we'll do either or. So I'm requesting approval for Residential Fences Well, it may not be done now. We go to a different kind of gate.
Yeah, you have to go out to bid on it again, you have to get two prices on it, but.
Somebody should stable.
Well, they're on the state bid. right?
Yeah.
So I don't think you'll meet three
Okay.
prices.
All right, so we'll leave it, requesting approval for residential fences to install a gate at the Beach Club parking lot at a cost not to exceed $2,500. Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And lastly, I'm requesting approval to hire H2M to create a district-wide sewer collection map at a cost not to exceed $15,000. It will locate everything we need to know about our sewer, T's, connections, pipes, lines. We'll have it all in one spot.
So it must be on the GPS,
And a
GPS,
GPS, yes.
being able to put in a number and find out what's
Get
there.
right to the right location.
I think also what they said they're gonna be doing, if I'm not mistaken, what Jodine said is, they'll also let you know the kind of pipe, the size of the pipe, whether it's clay, whatever you put in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very thorough, actually, yes.
Okay.
So that's a motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And I believe, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have for you. Thank you.
Before we let him go, I have another. I want to compliment Jodine and the DPW team down there at Waverly Avenue. About a week ago, a truck showed up at my house with the latest bench to be added to the village. The bench dedicated to Jeff Weeks. Weighed 380 pounds, came in a truck with a little guy on it, and no lift gate. So my wife wondered what to do. We took it up to DPW, and a bunch of the guys up there, 7 guys, picked it up, put it off and put it to the side. Not their job, not invented here, but they did it. All right, thanks to them.
So your wife took it up there and it took.
Well, she drove the smart car. She drove the smart car, and the guy drove the truck.
Oh, I see. I know Karen's something else, but.
Yeah. She had me picking little green things tonight.
Thank you, Tom. I'll pass that on.
Trustee Green.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Just again, wishing everybody a happy and healthy 2013. Just one item for this evening, Mr. Mayor. I'm requesting and looking for board approval for the Long Island Growers Market to use the village lot at the top of Ryder Avenue. It's something that we've been allowing for the last several years, where local growers will offer produce to village residents and visitors of our village. Looking to start it in early July and have it run through November if the weather is permissible. So they're looking to use that lot, the corner of the lot, from 8 a.m. until approximately 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So that's
Can't get any extended time on that, can we?
well, a lot of it has to do with the seasonality and what they're growing and what they're able to offer. The earliest harvest that they're really looking to bring into the village is in early July, and I talked to them about maybe even switching the dates to Saturdays or on the weekend, and they say they have a regular route of destinations there that these farmers go to. So we're lucky enough to have them on Friday morning, and it's just a great amenity for people to get local grown produce. So it's the earliest that they'd be able to set us up would be in July.
Oh, okay. That's a motion.
And that's in the form of a motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, and that's all I have for this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Chair. Trustee Kirk.
Mr. Mayor, fellow trustees, I have 3 items tonight. I'm going to go in backwards order. You may have noticed the trucks in the west side of Riverwalk dumping dirt. They're putting 28,000 yards of dirt down there. And the first motion that I have is to hire J.R. Holtzmacher to check out this soil and make sure that it's not contaminated in any way.
There's a proposal in the materials you see.
Riverwalk picks up the cost of it.
Riverwalk will pick up the cost. Good. Okay. That's a motion.
Second. All in favor?
The other two matters that I have, I'll be brief. There'll be these are requests for public hearings, but I want to say a little bit something about them so you have a context. The first one is concerned with changes to the village code related to FEMA. You all know who FEMA is, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and they have changed some regulations that are their guidance. You don't have to do it, but if you don't do it, it's consequential. So they're recommending that municipalities adopt their guidelines. And basically what they're saying is that if you're in a floodplain, where many of us are, and if you looked at the evacuation map from Sandy, you'll see the floodplain in the south part of the village. There's a whole lot of the village in the floodplain. Basically what FEMA is suggesting is that you not build habitable property within 2 feet, what they call the freeboard area of the high water mark associated with a storm surge. Now, our storm surge in Sandy was about 4 or 5 feet. We could get higher than that. So what they're suggesting is that there be no habitable property in that area. And we're proposing to adopt that into our building code. So for example, if you're on the river, let's say at Laurel Street, you lose about 9 feet of habitable, you lose your first floor. Okay, your first floor becomes pilings with walls that get blown away if there's water and waves, and your house starts at about 9 feet off the grade. So we're going to have a public hearing about this. My request today is just for a public hearing, but I want everybody to know what it's about, and you'll have ample opportunity to comment on it. We'll pick a date, which
The next available date is February 11th.
January 28th.
28th or 11th.
January 28th. Next available date is January 28th, correct?
January 20th, okay.
so
Do we have a hearing set date?
No.
Yeah, 28th.
okay. I don't think that's especially. It may be controversial. There may be some things that we want to add on to that.
A motion to open public
I'm
hearing.
sorry. That's a motion. Motion for a hearing on the 28th.
Second. All in favor?
January 28th, we're talking about, correct?
Yes.
Second.
The second.
Mr. Mayor, if I could just for a moment, this, just also for the record, on the chapter 220, I mean, obviously there'll be extensive comments on it on January 28th, but there is 99.9% of this is not new, and it's been a portion of the code since 1998. This is just simply very small federal tweaks that they require with some of the zone updates, but otherwise the law is 99.99% exactly the same as it's been since 1998. The town of Brookhaven has the same code, and every village who has any kind of flood insurance has the same code. The penalty for not adopting this is there are sanctions from FEMA if you don't, including up to suspension of every homeowner's flood insurance. So that is why the village has had it since 1998, and will want to adopt what changes are recommended by the federal government.
So we've got a public hearing on the 28th. The second motion concerns another public hearing to amend our code with regard to the height of buildings along the river and in the E-industrial zone. Again, there'll be lots of time to comment and talk about this, but fundamentally the proposal is saying that FEMA is taking away the first floor, and if you think of housing as a pancake or a cake, the first layer is going away if you're on the river. You can park cars in it, you can put lawnmowers in it and bicycles, but you can't live in it, okay? So the second proposal is to alter the height restrictions in the village to give that back to residences and businesses. And it applies to new construction or, God forbid, your house burns down or as in some cases, a flood destroys your house. And I think we have one building in the village on 17 Beach Street, is that right? No, not Smith, 17 Beach.
Both.
Okay, there are two residences in the village who built to this code already. They're a little bit different looking, you know, they're tall, but we'll have ample opportunity to discuss this, so we need a date.
Same date?
Same date. Yep.
Thank you.
Second. All in favor? Okay.
Brian, will we publish the code before, the proposed draft code before the meeting?
It will be available tomorrow.
Okay, good. That's it, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, Happy New Year to everybody. I'd like to request approval to hire Dennis Burke as a full-time court, Denise, I'm sorry, Denise. Sorry, Denise. As a full-time court clerk at an annual salary of $35,692.80. Motion?
Second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Also like to, I got this from Jim Burbish, our Director of Public Safety. It is requested that Officer Travis Melector be promoted to the rank of Senior Code Enforcement Officer effective January 16, 2013. This promotion would increase his current pay grade by $1 more per hour. I know Travis, in fact, I've known him for about 20 years. He was a friend of my son's in grammar school since kindergarten.
Should have stopped it.
Yeah, but more so, I guess the night of the hurricane, Mayor and I were out assessing the damage, and down at the end of, I guess it was on Brightwood Street.
Yep.
It was fairly flooded. Houses were evacuated, and it was not a pleasant night. And Travis was there on duty, guarding the houses, making sure that people's property remained safe. And Travis has worked very hard here in the village, and he's a very professional young man. And I'd like to make a motion that he be promoted to rank of Senior Code Enforcement Officer. Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
I just want to talk briefly about the theater. This Saturday was Patchogue Pizzazz, which was a very successful event here in the village. And thanks to our friends at Newsday, there was a terrific article today in the paper. And really promoting the theater and the show. And it drew people from far and wide, not only as the audience, but also the participants came from far and wide. It was very successful. A few other things going on at the theater. I'll be very quick, but today was just announced that on Saturday, March 16th, the legendary performer Roseanne Cash will be at the theater. So if you are on the theater mailing list, you can get tickets quicker than anybody else. So if you're now through Saturday 1/19, e-news subscribers can get those tickets at the theater. Roseanne Cash is going to be a great show. She's fabulous. She's Johnny Cash's daughter, if people know who she is. No, that's a theater production. Also coming up at the Patchogue Theater, a lot of really good stuff. AEG Live and JVC Broadcasting will have country superstar Lee Brice at the theater. Fortunately, it is sold out. But I would bet if you call JVC, they must have some kind of ticket giveaway going on. So if you're interested, that's a big show for the theater. Sold out, Lee Brice. Keeping with the country and bluegrass, we have the great Buddy Merriam and the Backroads coming to Live in the Lobby. If you've never seen Buddy Merriam and the Backroads, it is a great show. It's the Mandolin Experience. It's a lot of fun and great performance.
I think his father was before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we met him at the theater one night. Yeah, it's a great show. They play all over the island and all over the region. children's programming, Disney's Aladdin Jr. coming to the theater Saturday, February 9th. We have Mickey D's coming back Saturday, February 16th with his Winter Spectacular. Ronan Tynan, of course, February 23rd. I don't know, how many years is this, Tom? 10. 10 years.
Pretty close to it.
10 years of Ronan Tynan. It's a great show. We're the 4th Patchogue Folk Festival, and this is very exciting. The legendary Kingston Trio are the featured act. If you're familiar with folk music from the 60s and 50s and 60s, Ron? They are still good. Let me tell you, I saw them on PBS a few weeks ago. They're still doing it.
What's the date of that one?
That is it, Joe? Yeah. Pete Seeger fan over there? So, of course. That's Saturday, March 23rd. The Patchogue Jam comes back for a 6th year on Friday, April 5th. Atlantic Wind Symphony on Sunday, April 7th. The fabulously hilarious Sandra Bernhard comes to the theater for the 2nd time. I saw her the first time she played here many years ago on Saturday, April 13th. Subi Productions has Patchogue Starshine. So if we have any talented young people in this audience, Mary, do you have a talented person in your?
I may have a talented young person, yes.
That's coming up. Cinderella on April 21st. And this will be, next one is going to be a very, very fun show. Should do very well, so get your tickets soon. The tickets are going really fast. The Bacon Brothers, if you're familiar with them. Very popular group, that's Kevin Bacon. We're all related to him in some way, as everybody knows. That's Saturday, May 11th at 8 o'clock. So a lot of good things, and working with the theater, and there'll be some pretty big announcements coming up about new shows in the near future. They're working with some people. Now that we have AEG, which is a big promotion company, putting on shows at the theater, expect to see some pretty good things happening. I'm going to, again, thanks to the Highway Department and Joe Dean. Their work at the theater has been great as far as maintenance goes. Everything from leaky faucets to toilets to sewers. They've been there. I see the emails going back and forth, and they get an email and something's wrong. They're there right away, taking care of it, and they're doing a terrific job.
Well, thank you.
And again, I would like to commend our public safety officers for the work that they're doing. Al Costello's here. He and the rest of the guys over there doing a great job in the village. Everybody understands what's going on. It's all been in the newspaper. And, it's the amount of volume that people are in the village. And these guys are doing a great job maintaining quality of life and trying and, patrolling parking lots, patrolling the streets, doing what they can to help prevent vandalism and public drinking, public urination, all those kind of things. And it's not an easy job. And I'd like to thank those guys. Al, thanks a lot for the work you do and keeping all that, keeping the village safe for people. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, board trustees, Irene, and guests. Director of Recreation, Maria Justicia, has asked me to read a report from her, and starts with 380 Bay Avenue is up and running. Our senior groups have been back the last 2 weeks and are loving their new amenities. On Monday, we have our Mahjong group. Tuesday is our bingo and assorted board games of choice. On Fridays, we have our South Ocean Senior Social Group. On alternating Fridays, our recreation staff will be teaming up with our seniors for some competitive gaming of Wii, bowling, and tennis. All groups are eager for new members. All are welcome to come and join the fun. On March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, we will be having our 18th annual St. Patrick's Day Parade down Main Street. It's going back to a 5K this year. Tom?
Yeah, would you like me to,
Yeah.
so you hold on that? If you want, I've got a couple of copies of the proposed route that I'll start down the pike here. I'm gonna save one for this is just a little package that we've got here, but that's what's going on. We've changed the course back to a 5K. It'll eliminate a little bit of a jog that kind of took us down by the railroad tracks, but also it allows us to get the race down on Main Street and off of Main Street as fast as possible. We also are going to, I had a discussion with Joe Perry from the fire department, and we're going to end the race north of Thorn Street to avoid any possible problem, because we've got that whole area from Rose Avenue east to 112 to kind of get the race started. We feel pretty comfortable that we'll be able to get a good 5K race in there and just keep it maybe only like 50 yards north of the Thorn Street, and it'll take the whole fire department issue out of the equation. So he was very supportive of it and thought that would be a good idea.
And they were real concerned that you were too close on the last race.
Yeah, and plus they were, 400 or 500 runners there. They were lining up right in front of the firehouse, and they had a call at 5 minutes before race time. So it was a little bit heavy. But in any event, that got done without any ado, no blood, no foul. We're going to make sure that we're not faced with the same situation here. And the parade, as you see in the information there, Mike Rao from Tires Incorporated is our Grand Marshal designee. Our theme this year is an Ellis Island tale, and Mike's grandmother came over and passed through Ellis Island, so we're going to be roasting him a little bit. And I see Brian's nodding, smiling, and I'll be calling on you, Brian, as well. But certainly, many people know Mike. He's a great guy. He'll be a great candidate to be our Grand Marshal. By the way, we're having the passing of the sash on the Barefoot Princess at the Harbor Crab on Sunday, February 24th. Is the plan to back.
What time is that?
And that'll be at noontime. Accompanied by our bragging rights for the best soda bread in Patchogue bake-off.
No competition with parades on the 17th?
Strangely, we followed the formula that we always use. The Patchogue's parade is the last Sunday in February. I'm sorry, last Sunday in March, except when March 17th falls on a Sunday. We all know that the Hibernians of New York City, being the devout group that they are all at church on that day. So they will have their plans on their parade on the 16th. We were asking for a rain date of the 24th. As difficult and challenging as that would be because of all the other parades that will be on the 24th. If in fact it does rain, that's when we'd ask to have it. But yeah, March 17th is not a big, I believe Montauk is going to do that day, and I think Rocky Point. But other than that, we've been getting quite a few calls from bands asking. Yeah, McPeak is James McPeak is in charge of it. He's got a list of them, so we're expecting a big turnout and good day.
When was the last time it was on St. Patrick's Day?
There was one, and it wasn't exactly 7 years ago because there was a leap year in here, but it was might have been when Evelyn Cantwell was the Grand Marshal. It was back in like 99, 98, something like that. But I know that there was one other time that they did fall that way, and it worked out pretty well. So it should be a good day.
What time is the course out of the town?
Out of the village? No. And the other thing this course allows us to do is to maintain the entire race course within the village of Patchogue, so we don't have to. There was like 2 blocks out of the village property, the village jurisdiction in the last course that we had. But this is all laid out within the village of Patchogue. So with your permission, we'll be able to move forward with that. Of course, subject to making sure we get the 5th precinct on board to see if the road closings are done. The road closings will also be, there's a little comment there that you'll see that's being said, that's all the past Grand Marshals. If anyone knows the past Grand Marshal, you have an opportunity to get yourself and your entourage or anybody you want to be on a corner to encourage, urge, and help direct the runners. And the runners will be judging the most enthusiastic past Grand Marshal corner.
How long does the race normally take?
16 minutes for those that finish it first, and 36 minutes for those that are dragging along. But within 45 minutes, the roads are clean and gone.
How much Waverly Avenue do they close off?
Waverly Avenue doesn't have to be closed off. Everything is run on the right side, basically on the sidewalk. We have to have somebody, of course, at each one of those corners. There's about 6 corners there that have to be attended to pretty carefully. But they're all relatively low traffic as far as entering from East 3rd, 4th, 5th Street going up.
Right.
And then the rest of the corners that you're encountering where there are cross streets are down Central Avenue. And it's pretty easy to control those without volunteers.
I'd be willing to bet that Fisk will want to close down the north spur to the circle.
We could, that wouldn't be a bad idea to do it. It would only be a relatively short period of time, at least even if we just did the right side of that.
Right.
Because the runners will only be out, that's about a half mile, it's probably the 1 mile mark as you're going by the 5th precinct or so.
Right.
So it'll be pretty easy to have that closed down for a relatively short period of time, within 10 minutes after the start of the race. The last run will be through that area. There'll also be a fun run for the kids that'll run from the starting line to the courthouse. That's all along closed areas already, so that's usually pretty easy to organize, and that'll take off right behind the runners.
Thank you. Okay, do we hear a motion to?
Motion.
Second, Brady, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett, members of the board.
Continuing with the letter from 380, today's letter. And the Village Patchogue Parks and Recreation Department is pleased to announce their new Facebook page, which has over 170 friends and is still growing. Keep updated with programs, parades, cancellations, and everything and anything related to recreation. We're also working on an American grant for the American Heart Association in conjunction with Kaboom, who is a playground, community playground sponsor, grant for the second phase of the playground at Shorefront Park, which will address the older children, equipment for older children ages 8 to 12. I know there's been a lot of interest in that, and we are able to move forward with that, pretty much whether we get the grant or not. So we're excited about that. And moving on. As some of you know, that this Saturday, January 19th, is the 10-mile run to the brewery on River Avenue, and it starts at 8:30. And the brewery is requesting approval to hold a pre- and post-race charity event at the Blue Point Brewery on Saturday, January 19th, from 8:30 to noon. Is a motion?
Now, that race doesn't go on to River Hall, does it?
It starts.
It starts on River and ends on Weeks?
And ends on weeks.
Okay, so once everybody's gone,
It's gone.
the street doesn't get closed down anymore?
Right, and the runners will walk back from Weeks up the sidewalk of River. There's new sidewalks on River. And, but maybe the advance, I don't know if it's time enough, if you have time to throw something in there about, we'll be closed down around 8:30, probably for half an hour.
And we're saying that this is going to be over, yeah, we made the motion, but this is going to be over by noon time then?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as we're at the time.
Yeah.
Second. Motion?
Made motion.
I'll
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Request approval to hold the annual World Tai Chi and Qigong Day at Shorefront Park on Saturday, April 27th from 9 to noon. The rain date is Saturday, May 4th.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Request approval to hold the annual Great South Bay Music Festival at Shorefront Park from Friday, July 19th to Sunday, July 21st.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, number 5, the Tai Chi in a park then?
Yeah. Oh, I did, oh, okay. Tai Chi, request approval to hold Tai Chi in the park, in Shortland Park on Saturdays in June and August from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Second?
Second.
David?
Aye.
Okay.
Request approval for the Euclid Hose Company to hang a banner on East Main Street from February 26th to March 16th to promote an event.
Second. David?
Aye.
Okay. What's up to, St. Patrick's Day?
That's St. Patrick's Day, which is on the event, which is on the 16th. No, yeah, on the 16th. It's a main fundraiser for Euclid Hose Company, and it's always a good event. And request approval to hire Valerie Sussman as volleyball director for the 2013 Volleyball League, Monday through Thursday through January to April at $275 per month.
So, how many years she been doing this? She's gotta be 20 years doing this.
Yeah, it's got at least, and Reggie did it before,
I
so,
don't think I ever remember.
I know, she's so good,
That's a good lady.
yeah. It's motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any other comments by the board? Mr. Egan, any comments?
No, thank you.
Closed. Public to be heard. Martin?
Mark Siegel from Blum. I apologize to Jack for bothering you in November. And we all have problems with our parking lots. And we've had it from the beginning, from the time the theater opened, which is great. And we get customers from Queens that come here. And I talked to Mr. Ferb and his wife, and I said, Mr. Ferb, ask your wife, how long does it take, you think how it takes to try on a bathing suit? It's not an hour, not 2 hours, it could be up to 3 hours. Well, they thought it was a big joke. Now, she don't wear bathing suits anymore. I didn't ask if you did. And, you know, and many women, it takes time. And thank God we've done very well for the, you know, with all the stuff going on. And we have that half-hour thing on the Elks Club. What is that for? A half hour?
It's been there forever.
No, it has not.
What was it,
It's a sign, and everybody thinks it's the whole row. It says half-hour parking, and except for the weekends.
Well, how many spaces?
Well, they all think, everybody thinks it's the whole thing.
It's brand new.
Brand new. And there's this white Jetta who parks there all day long,
We'll find out.
doesn't get a
But
ticket.
wasn't it half hour for a
No.
long time?
No.
Probably one
Just went up, this past, like, maybe December.
park when it's
Really?
delivering.
What's that?
Probably when they have parties and stuff, it might be so they can.
Well, they don't, no, that's not right.
One
Should be
spot.
2-hour parking.
I'll find out for you.
Thank you.
See if
Because,
somebody put it up. I thought it was always half hour.
no, it was 2 hours.
Oh.
It's always been 2 hours.
Well, there was a point in time that the chamber had 2 or 3 spaces that they left, but they had years back when Vinnie Gucci and
Well, yeah, when he was on, yeah, right. But one of my girls that worked for me couldn't find a spot, so she parked where 89 North is. And instead of calling the police when this happened, somebody broke her side mirror. So I said to her, next time, call me, I'll sit there with until the cop comes. Because there's $300 to get a new one. There was, you know, and then lighting along the old Sloan building, you know where the Sloan used to be? There's no lighting there, very dark at night. There's little lights on the building, which we have on our side of the building, we put in ourselves. And it was, you know, and then they're either not working or they don't turn them on. And they come brighter, as the night gets darker, it gets brighter like daylight.
Yep.
It would be better if they were on or something was there. And I think, I know we're gonna get a lot more things coming in the theater because you have that new promotion thing.
Yeah.
And the guys came that one time at the morning show. But then when the morning show was over, there was a 1 o'clock show and they were gone. So it all filled up. That's when we were busy. So, of course, they had this 1 o'clock show and then that was it for me. Because I'm telling you, and I know you said people can walk. But not all customers want to walk and they're afraid to walk. And, you know, they're afraid to walk or they don't know where to park, they get confused. Like I said, we don't get our customers around Patchogue all the time. Queens, Nassau, North Shore. A lot of our customers got hurt with Sandy along the shore. A lot of them would go on vacation. But we're still doing well. We've been very busy, thank God. And we came close to our numbers for November and December, thank God. But still, maybe there should be something written on the ticket, only park in certain areas, or try to push, I will park out there. My girls were afraid to park out there. I told them, I'll walk you out there if you want, but they don't listen. Like everybody else, they park along the side, well, I park on the street, there's no parking.
So I always see your car on the
So,
street.
Thank you.
But,
Yeah.
anytime,
Okay, well, I didn't want, I didn't want to bother you, and I know, once you stopped calling me back, I said, that's it.
I usually call the theater and tell them to get somebody out there and move those.
No, I
places.
don't want that. They should be done. Yeah, you should, you're right.
Yeah.
But I don't, if people in theater aren't going to listen to me.
Yeah, no, I just call, as soon as you
Oh,
call,
okay.
I call them
All
right
right,
away and
all
have
right.
them move the buses.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, everybody. Lauren Prendergast, Cedar Grove Street, Patchogue. I just wanted to say I had the opportunity to attend a bid meeting last week, I think it was, and I was really impressed with the whole group, the way the meeting went, everybody on the board. I just got a really genuine feeling from everybody and that they're really pulling for the residents, and I was really, really impressed. I just wanted to say that.
They have an excellent board, they do it.
I was just amazed. Everybody was so concerned with the issues, particularly with the, nighttime problems we're having now, and everybody was suggesting things, trying to find a resolution, and they were such a team. I was very impressed. So I just wanted to say that and compliment Dennis on the whole group. My first question actually, have you received a response from the OSC regarding your proposed cap plan
The
resolution?
only response we got is that they received it.
Right.
That,
So no decision has been made?
No.
Okay, and how's the policy review committee?
I wouldn't necessarily imply that a decision is going to be made. I understand that the procedure is that they just acknowledge they received it. So I don't want to, I don't assume that there is going to be any kind of decision that comes down on the cap plan.
unless they have a problem with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Normal procedure is that there usually isn't a response, but I don't know.
Oh, I was told there was going to be a response, but that's why I'm asking if there was
Okay.
something.
We haven't
delivered.
gotten it.
Okay. And how is the progress coming along with the policy review committee?
I had a meeting this afternoon with the treasurer and deputy treasurer to review all of the proposals that are relative to procurement and fuel and cars and credit cards. I've had responses from 3 of the trustees, so I think we're getting there.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, I'm Evan Clausen. I'm one of the owners at Rose Coffee and Tea Trading Company, located at 41 East Main Street.
We thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for all being
Let me
customers.
just interrupt. Are you here for the parking?
Yes, I am.
All right, I spoke to Jim. I thought he was going to come tonight, so that's why I didn't see him out there. So I'm sorry I didn't introduce you earlier because Jim had come up to me yesterday.
Jim?
At the coffee at Roast.
William.
Oh, at Roast, and I told him to stop at board meeting. So I'm sorry I didn't.
Yeah, I'm
recognize
here to stay on this side. I want to request 2 15-minute parking spots in front of Roast. We're a quick serve business, so we believe it will help us accommodate our customers better. Plus, we share space with the bank, and when the bank is closed, there's really no good short-term
That's right,
parking
it's back.
allocation.
Let's take a look at it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, I'm sorry.
That's better.
Now I recognize you because I saw you there yesterday.
Carrying the union around.
Yes.
Any other comment? Roger?
John Bojack, 8 Knox Street. Good evening and welcome to 2013, everybody.
Yeah.
I just have 2 concerns or 2 questions, and actually they both relate to other voices spoken in the village. Today there was a posting on the patch and relates to the resolution that Trustee Ferb raised about raising the height restrictions. And I thought it was a good question, and one probably you, Mr. Egan, would know the exact answer to. And that is whether or not there is a code of ethics restriction on how people who are trustees can vote if they're within 200 feet of the industrial district. So that came up as a question on the patch. I don't know if it's come up before, but it's certainly, I think, a worthwhile one to ask about.
What was the question?
Well, the question would be, if I understand the ethics requirement, if you're within 200 feet of the industrial district and you're proposing a change, it's an automatic conflict of interest, and you have to recuse yourself.
Oh, the answer to that is false.
Oh, okay.
That's not true.
Not true.
You know, there was a, the proposal, this village is 2.2 square miles. If people were restricted from what they could vote on because they were near it or close to it, there'd be no business getting conducted by any members of the board. So what that section is, it talks about 40-7.
40-7.
Yeah, so it's a popular section. 40-7C1, exactly what he's talking about.
Right.
We've entered an application for, and again, the preface to this is why that doesn't apply. And this is the danger of Googling things and not fully reading what people are asking in questions. Application for site plan review, subdivision approval, change of zone, a variance, or a special permit involving property within 200 feet of property. None of those sections are what's proposed as a local law.
Okay, so the local law doesn't fit those qualifications. All right, sorry. But you know, this is a good process to find the truth of what may be going on. So
I'm happy to answer, as you know, I'm always happy to answer your questions you have.
So that was a voice that I heard today, and I thought that was important to relate to. And I want to talk about a letter I saw in the one on advance, which appeared, I think, last week, from a woman who lives in North Patchogue, which was about taxi issues. And I think this has come up before, and I know the village has got issues about getting people out of the village at night to make sure they get home safely. If you didn't see that letter, it was a mother complaining that her son and his friends that come to Patchogue Village on New Year's, they had paid $15 to get to the village and would charge $50 to get out of the village. In addition to that, I think I've been following all these articles. I've seen other individuals have been complaining that the taxi services are absent late at night. Now, I don't know the truth of any of this.
It's funny you say that, because I had a conversation with one of the owners of one of the restaurants today about that. I asked him what he sees it like, and I'm going to have to set up a meeting with the taxi companies to say that they want to be in the village, they want to be part of the village, they need to service Main Street at night, they have to do it.
We license people to
We
come
license, absolutely.
Right,
And
okay.
that's my point to it.
All right, so and I would agree with you. I think we can't have predator, you know, on that issue of whether I believe that someone was overcharged, whether that was an individual or an individual conspiring with a taxi cab company, I have no idea. But it should never have occurred.
But I could see where the guy gets in and says, okay, it's $15 a head.
Right.
You know, I suspect that's what he did.
Right. Well, in any event, since the village has some authority here, I think it should use it all, because it's kind of clear that amongst all the solutions to the problems we're having, taxis is one of them.
Absolutely.
So, and taxis got to be safe and available for people so they can get home without getting drunk and in trouble. So that's it. Thank you.
Any other comment? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Lord. I'm sorry, wait, a couple quick things. He's over in the main parking lot behind
You still
Main
need to
Street.
say who you are.
I'm sorry, excuse me, I apologize. Dennis Ross, 32 West Main Street. I apologize. The main parking lot off of West Main Street, there are several signs that have been broken off through whatever reason, back over. There's like a 6-inch stub that's hanging out.
Is that in that small section or is it?
Along the entire, where you put the 2-hour parking, there's 3 of those that are down. The handicap on the far east end is down, and it leaves a 6 to 8 inch stub. I've changed 2 tires out there in that parking lot based on those 6-inch stubs that are hanging
Which
out.
lot exactly is this?
The church.
Is that what it's called?
Church.
That
Church.
behind lot?
Right behind where you live.
Yes, sir. Okay. As far as the cabs on Main Street, and I believe me, they're there. They honk up and down all night long, trolling customers. I can tell you they're there. So,
Okay.
those, like I said, those, and also, how do you get in touch with people running the parking board? There's some sort of, I spoke with Mr. Furman. He sits on some committee for parking in the village.
What is it that you're looking to?
I just input or help with whatever. I think it's more of a chamber issue than it is a village issue.
Yeah, it's really the BID.
Yeah, BID, is that, how do you get in touch with these individuals?
Contact Dennis Smith.
I'm sorry?
Contact Dennis Smith. Oh, Dennis is still here.
Thank you.
Dennis is right in the back.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
We got a question about parking, probably wayfinding signs, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
So,
Any motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too, guys. Appreciate you hearing me. Tony Vasquez, 346 South Ocean Avenue. My issue is, the Emporia.
Yep.
Okay? This Friday, there were over 10 cop cars over there at 3 o'clock in the morning. There were about 3 fights. 2 cars were parked right on my lawn. Right on the lawn. Not even right smack on the lawn. They were just parked there. I should have taken pictures of the tire marks because they were there.
Police cars or?
No, people who go into the Emporium. They just pulled over the curb and parked right there. New Year's Eve, there was a woman being attacked by a man right in front of 35 Railroad, right in front of my apartment buildings. My tenants were looking out, the kids were looking out. She was screaming until finally the cops came to arrest her. This is really 9, maybe 10 or 12 fights already since they opened up. It's really asinine. It's crazy.
We've been trying to work with them and with the 5th, and I'll talk to the 5th again about it.
Really?
We just had a meeting last week about
I
it.
appreciate them putting a sign, there's a beautiful sign out there. Please, respect your neighbors and all that, that's great. You're parking for me, phenomenal. Even though they don't care, they still park there. And code enforcement is great, they give them the tags or anything. But when my tenants try to park, even if they're tagged, the car is still there, they can't park there. There's no way. So they gotta double park somewheres just until somebody moves. And it's not so much as the parking, we get along, but it's the yelling and screaming.
It's the noise.
At 3 or 4 in the morning, I had 2 tenants moved out on me already.
I heard that.
And these are kids that go to school, they have to look out the window and see this. We're trying, man.
We're trying to.
All right, I appreciate your time and your help.
Thank you. Any other comments? Motion to adjourn? Motion. Second? Second. Okay. Happy New Year, everyone.